You're listening to the No Limits Radio Show on the Vets on Media Network.
Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Happy Saturday, everyone. I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
And running the board, we have Sam. She is back in the saddle.
I am back. Hello.
It's good to have you.
It's been a while.
It has been a very long
I
time.
know. It's been a busy couple weeks, I think. And I'm sure I heard you guys were busy this week, right?
We were.
We were in a fashion show.
Yeah. Another one. You guys are on a roll here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why people keep asking us because we're really not that phenomenal on the runway. Just so everybody
Look at this
understands
way, it's
that.
practice. So when you get into the big leagues, you guys will be ready.
Honey, I'm too big for the big leagues. Not my head. I'm literally too big for the big leagues.
Well, it was funny because when I heard them share, we had models of all shapes and sizes. I was like, I know what shape and size I fit in there. Thank you. Thank you.
I loved when I went and tried the dresses on to figure out which one, I was going to wear. And she's like, one of these two, I really want you in lime green. And I'm thinking, okay, the one time I wore lime green, I got into a fight with like my, at the time, sister-in-law. So I really try not to wear lime green, but okay, fine. You want me to put light? And she goes, they're a size 8. And I go, a size 8? I have not worn a size 8 since before my last child. And he's like 12. So I don't think I'm going to fit in those. I think you will. And I'm like trying and I'm like, yeah, I told you I'm not going to fit in this. Thank God. Because I could have gotten in a fight.
Because it was lime green.
Because it was lime green. I really, truly believe that. So,
well, I have been posting on my Facebook, speaking of sizes and all of that, I've been posting on my Facebook all about, who do I know that's done the HCG diet? Got a lot of great feedback, and I have decided I'm doing it.
The who, what?
The HCG diet. So I will share with everyone all about that. And the doctor that's going to be helping me with that, we're going to bring him on the show if it works. If it doesn't work.
I thought we already have him booked, don't we, for a week in November, I thought. Didn't we discuss this at the charity event we were at?
We did, but we haven't nailed down a specific date.
Never mind. We don't have enough time to go into why I thought that was so funny because we do have to do the WWW because we have a full show today.
Yes, we do.
So we are going to start with a wonderful story that you actually
hold on.
shared.
For people that don't know what the WWW is,
you should have been listening a long time ago. Anyway, go ahead.
Nice boots. So the WWW is where Michelle goes out to the interweb, if you will, and finds stories that are wild, wonderful, and sometimes wacky. All right. Now we can go into it. Now that they know what's coming.
Man, they'd have figured it out when I started talking about people with axes and, things like that. They'd have figured it out. Anyway.
They might have thought that it was like wrestling if you started talking about
wrestling with axes.
Some of those wrestlers get crazy.
With axes?
That's not real, though.
It's not real?
It's not real.
Really?
Really?
Nah.
Surprise.
Surprise,
kidding.
surprise. Anyway, we will share this on our No Limits Facebook page. But this story, actually, Christina, I had seen it, but Christina brought it to my attention also. And it's actually a YouTube video that was posted the 1st of October. And it is a magician that had heard about this homeless veteran who is on the streets. And apparently he just likes to make people smile, whether they give him money or not. So this magician wanted to do something special for him. And so he went up to him and he, we'll post the video. You really have to see it, but he rips up his sign and does all this stuff. And then he ends up reopening it back up and all this money falls out. So,
and what I found so interesting as he was like ripping it up, the homeless veteran is standing there. He was like, and he's being so nice.
Very nice. And what the magician says is the sign said, anything helps. So the magician's like ripping it in half. Does that help? And the homeless guy's like, well, I don't see how two halves would help.
Yeah. And he says, can I keep the Sharpie so that I can, because at first the magician writes a dollar sign on there. Mm-hmm. Does this help? And then he hands him the Sharpie and says, can you hold that? And then the homeless man, the veteran, says, well, can I keep the Sharpie so that I can make another one? And I'm just like, oh, that was.
I don't know if I then appreciate the magician or not, because that's just kind of mean. That's taunting, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it all happened
yeah.
pretty quickly. I mean, it all happened
Okay.
pretty quickly. But I will say, for the little bit of probably anxiety he went through, the magician has also done a GoFundMe for him. And as of Friday, they had raised more than $29,000 for the homeless vet. So
I've
I
seen
think
a
that's
similar one like that as well.
a little bit of wonderful.
And you know what? Thankfully, we have things like social media and this connectivity, because without social media, there's no way that that story would have gone viral and that the GoFundMe would have had any impact. Because if the magician was just shooting this video and then, or just did it, and then only the people that were around him observed it live, nobody else would have known. So the reach would not have been as viral.
You are correct.
Yes.
You're definitely correct. And I think that you're kind of poking the bear, I think they call it, right now in regards to one of the other stories we were going to discuss. And I think that you took from it total opposite of what I feel that it really was about. So
Are we going to play it for everyone?
Sam?
Yes.
Do you want to play this?
What?
It's so this is it's on the No Limits page, and it's about if you don't put your phone down after hearing this.
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah,
here.
we'll give you a second, and let's just play the first. I mean, it's 3 minutes, so we don't want to play 3 minutes, but let's just play the first part of this.
Okay.
And we'll then have our
average
debate.
Person spends 4 years of his life looking down at his cell phone. Kind of ironic, ain't it? How these touch screens can make us lose touch. But it's no wonder in a world filled with iMacs, iPads, and iPhones, so many eyes, so many selfies, not enough us's and we's. See, technology has made us more selfish and separate than ever. Because while it claims to connect us, connection has gotten no better.
Okay. So, and if you go on to listen to
this,
I thought your comment, I couldn't believe what your comment was, because it was the most racist comment I think I've ever heard come out of your mouth.
The shock on Christina's face.
Yeah. Tell the listeners what your comment was after you saw this.
Wow, Michelle, thanks.
You're welcome.
If you continue to listen to it, he goes off on this rant about how social media, you know, we have more friends on our list, but we are friendless.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going off on this angry rant, and I just said, it just seems like an angry black man. That's
I don't know if it's
how
angry,
is that
though.
a racist comment?
Well, because the phrase, whether this phrase is even politically correct, I'm not going to say it is or isn't, but the phrase angry black man usually refers to when a person that is black is making some type of statement about how they were treated because of race.
Okay, well, that wasn't how I meant it at all.
Okay,
I just
because
said,
why
it
not
seems
just an
like
angry man?
Okay, fine. That's an angry man.
Okay, but I think what you took from it is that social media is this horrible thing. And what I took from it was the way technology is, we are sometimes so out of touch with the people right in front of us because we do have our phones. And that is a true statement. How many times do you go to dinner and you see people literally at dinner on their phone?
That drives me crazy.
Kids these days, to pick up the phone and have phone conversations versus texting is reality. I mean, that's a reality.
I
That's
agree.
not,
I agree.
you know,
I agree. There are some issues with balance, and yes, people do need to have better balance. But to have this bash on social media that, you know, it's this horrible thing. As I was listening to him, go on this rant, it bothered me because of all the beautiful and amazing and wonderful things that the social connectivity has brought into my life. I mean, if it weren't for social media, my fiance and I would have never reconnected. The personal connections that I have with those people that are my friends.
However, you also have on your social media people that you have really no idea who they are. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but what I'm saying is that it is, it's like, oh yeah, they're a friend on my Facebook. Yeah, I don't really know who they are. So there is a little truth to the fact that there are people, and not necessarily you. You are very active in networking, and you go do things, but that's not everyone. Some people are in their little hole of technology. I don't think it was a social media blast. It was a technology type of song. I think you should re-listen to it.
It just bothered me.
Oh, I know it bothered you. I am not disagreeing with that 100%.
I guess I feel, especially for kids my age, it's a lot of, well, if I do this, I'll get really popular on Facebook when I take this picture. Or, well, it's true though. That's what girls do or guys do, you know, because sometimes I feel like some of them even get they propose at a young age. Like, oh yeah, as soon as I post a picture up of the ring, my Facebook is going to blow up and I'm looking forward to it.
See, that is very disappointing. One of the things that I find humorous is many of the people that are on my friends list, the types of pictures that they post on a regular basis, they always look fabulous. And that was why on Friday I did that like funniest selfie. Post those pictures of you. And if you go to our Facebook page, go to the No Limits Radio Show Facebook page, and you can see the funniest selfie pics. I enjoy posting pictures of myself looking ridiculous because I feel like it shows, you don't have to take yourself so seriously.
Right.
Life is fun. Just laugh at yourself.
Right.
Please
do. Speaking of laughing at yourself, no one wants to laugh at themselves or cry after their first date.
That's true.
There, for anyone this weekend that is going on a first date, here are 6 little tips of things not to do. Do not talk about your ex. Tardiness. Do not be late.
Can't stand that.
Yeah.
That should just be a thing for life, not just dating. Don't be late.
You're right. That's true.
Well, and I guess going back to that first one, don't talk about your ex. If you feel the need to talk about your ex, maybe you need a therapist. Because like if you feel that need to get that off your chest, maybe there are some unresolved issues there.
But I think what should go into that also about don't talk about your ex, don't ask about an ex either. A lot of people are like, so when's the last time you dated someone? How long have you been single? You're like opening the doorway for them to talk about their ex.
Sure.
So it should be both ways. Don't ask and don't talk about an ex. Don't drink too much. That's a given. Arrogance. Don't be so arrogant and talk about the amazing job and how many Ferraris you have.
Now, see, hold on a second. I wonder if sometimes we confuse confidence with arrogance.
It's the way you go about it and the way you brag about it.
Yeah, there's a difference being proud of what you have accomplished.
Oh, I work here and I've been working really hard and I'm very proud of myself. I think it's a humble thing versus let me tell you how awesome I am because I drive a Mercedes.
Right. My house is 4,000 square feet with a sauna inside and a tennis court in the backyard.
And I use it all the time. Yeah.
I did that. I didn't get very far. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway. Oh, number 5, sitting on your phone. Imagine that tie into the last story.
Nothing. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And 6 is bad table manners.
That is a bad table manner right there.
That is true.
Sitting on your phone.
Christina, were you on your phone on your first date?
I'm sure I was.
I can't. How can you eat? I don't know. Nothing drives me crazy than sitting at a table with somebody and they're going click, 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 click. And I'm sitting there looking at them, waiting for them to finish.
Okay, but hold on a second. If you're on a first date and you have kids and you're checking in with your kids or checking in with your sitter, that's okay.
Of course.
Well, yeah.
But that's not what this is talking about.
I know it's not.
This is talking about, oh, my salad came here. Let me take a picture and post it on my Instagram.
Now, see, I've never understood that. I don't take pictures of my food. Maybe it's because my food is not that interesting. No, I have never taken pictures of my food.
I'm totally looking through your Facebook page.
Go ahead, you Facebook stalker.
What's wrong with that? There's nothing in technology etiquette that says I can't be a stalker on Facebook.
That's why it's there, right? Oh, wait.
You know when that will stop is when there's an app that tells people that you're stalking them.
Well,
when somebody
IP addresses, they can do that.
Through your phone?
Not.
But like, okay, you know how on LinkedIn it shows so-and-so has viewed your profile.
Yeah.
If Facebook started doing that, so-and-so has viewed your profile. So-and-so has viewed your profile. People would stop viewing everybody's profile.
It's true.
Well, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't give a crap whether they knew I was stalking them or not.
I'm sure you wouldn't. Nice boots.
No, I wouldn't care. All right. So anyway, from Utah, this is kind of a little bit of a wacky story. In Utah, and this actually happened in August at a Dickey's barbecue. Did you hear about this story?
I did.
This woman She is 67, Jan Harding. And it's on surveillance. She takes a drink of sweet iced tea and she immediately spits it out because the beverage was accidentally laced with a lye that the restaurant used as a cleaning chemical. And the person accidentally put the lye in the tea instead of sweetener.
How did somebody do that?
Yikes.
I don't know.
Like, is it not labeled?
All I can think of is like those 5-gallon buckets and they've got all of them together. And then somebody goes, that's the one that looks like sugar.
Yeah, because chemicals normally, I mean, I used to work in restaurants. So the chemicals that you use for cleaning and everything else are all pretty brightly labeled, like hazardous, or toxic, or, they're all pretty well done. They're saying that this was a complete accident and that that the restaurant is not being held like liable as far as like a criminal type of suit. But I'm thinking, how can they not be? Like, how did you not have everything labeled? Or maybe they did. Maybe the guy was just dumb.
Not looking and went yada yada yada.
So I don't know, but for now on, I think I'm getting bottled water.
Those self-serve fountains always kind of creep me out.
Why?
Okay, so you're putting your glass up next to it and then putting the liquid, like they usually have like a little lever. You put your glass up, like the ones that you push. There's
Right.
like a lever, you push it. Well, what if people have been drinking out of the glass and then they go back up there and they push it up there? So then their like lip cooties are on the glass
That's
and
why I
touching.
use straw.
But everybody doesn't.
Yeah, but if you do, then you're never going to touch their cooties.
But
You're
if you take a drink of it and then push it on the lever, it's the opposite side.
But she's talking about like a refill.
Exactly.
Like you go back for seconds.
And you certainly wouldn't want them to touch it with their finger and then put, like the germs, Ebola. Thank you.
Oh, God. Really?
Oh, dear Lord. Let's not talk about that.
No.
It could happen.
It could happen.
So
You know what
could-
else could happen? This story could happen to you, and I think it's absolutely horrible. This actually happened in Alaska. A family.
Why are you putting this on me? This could happen to you.
This could
Well,
happen.
Because this could happen too,
'Cause-
and it'd be a lot worse than having someone's lip juice from your fountain thing on your cup. This is horrible.
I know what story you're going to talk about.
So this family, his name is Justin Priest. The Alaska Police Department went to his parents' home and informed him that he was killed in a crash, a fatal car accident. The parents and his brother drive 50 miles to their son's house so that they can tell his girlfriend of 5 years that he has passed, because they didn't want to call her. They wanted to tell
Right.
her face to face. They get to the door and their son answers the door.
Wouldn't you freak out?
I would be sick to my stomach.
Oh my gosh. The
I
dad
agree.
said, I was shocked and astonished, and I had to keep grabbing him and hugging him. The saddest day became the happiest. I've never cried so much in my life.
Oh.
But how safe do you think it was for that family to drive 50 miles? Because when you're upset, emotional, that's just as bad as driving drunk. It really is. If you're crying, if you
Yeah.
are emotional, you should not be in a car.
Shit, in the last 2 weeks, I guess I better be taking the bus. That's my favorite place to cry.
But no, I mean, seriously.
I mean, well, would you do it if you had to tell somebody, that somebody passed away and you had to go tell, their significant other or whatever? Would you go do it though?
Yeah,
No,
wouldn't you
I'd
drive?
Facebook them. I'm just kidding.
Of course you would. You would Skype them. You heartless, cold bitch, you.
FaceTime it. Hey, by the way,
Can we FaceTime? Do you have a minute?
I have to talk to you face
No,
to face.
No,
Oh.
I would drive, but I mean, my first thought when I read that story was, how safe was that for them to drive 50 miles there? And I understand not sharing the news over the phone with the girlfriend,
Mhm.
but had they just called first and said, hey, insert girlfriend's names here, how are you doing? Where are you? Maybe she would have
That
said,
freaked me out more.
well,
though.
what if the
Justin
son,
and I are having dinner.
yeah, exactly. So
Well, did they ever figure out who the dead person
there was another, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the sad part of the story, is that a family did lose their son.
There was another Justin Priest. It was just a different middle name, and I think
There's
he
not
was
that many
like 3
people in
years.
Alaska. What are
I
the
know.
chances of the same name?
Yeah, he was like 3 years younger. Or whatever.
Clearly,
Oh.
their system needs a little bit better organization. And we have a guest later on in the show that's going to share with us some organization ideas. So
that's good.
yeah.
That's good.
Alaska police, call in.
Yeah, because like, how did they like? I'm just trying to figure out how they identified him, because if it was that like quick of a, hey, here's a car wreck, you know, I'm thinking they either are identifying him from the car he's driving,
right,
which should be registered to his home address, or to the parents if it's their car, their home address, or his driver's license that
How
they
old was he?
found. He was like
33?
29. The real Justin was 33.
Okay.
So he's not on mom and dad's insurance anymore.
Well, I'm wondering maybe like nasty car crash, obviously because this man died. Passenger, what was the name of the driver? Justin Priest.
So what'd they do? Google him or
No, they looked
Facebook him?
They looked him up in their system, right? And they look up Justin Priest and they go, oh, 29 years old. That makes sense. He's about the same age as the passenger. Boom.
They went to Facebook. Justin Priest.
I don't know, but I kind of
Mom
want
and
to
dad.
call him and I want to say, okay, how did you do this? Because like I want to know.
All right. Maybe before the next show we could make that happen.
I'm gonna try, because
You're
I
gonna-
just want to know how you royally screw that up. Like, because that's bad. That's
Are
like
you gonna
really,
call-
really bad.
Hold on a second. You're going to
Yeah.
call the police department?
I'm gonna Facebook him.
Of Alaska.
We should let's just do it live.
Facebook him. How the fuck did you fuck this up? We gotta know.
And for those of you that are just tuning in, we're all on the internet, so there's no FCC need to dump.
Thank goodness.
Okay.
See, I cleared it up. All right, I think we have one more story.
Okay.
And this is a little bit on the it's kind of sad but beautiful, I guess, at the same time. This is a story of a 29-year-old woman. Her name is Brittany Maynard. She is actually expected to die next month of brain cancer. And she plans on ending her life in October. So they moved to Oregon, which is one of the states that has put this law into effect. And she's decided to do it the day after her husband's 43rd birthday.
Okay. So if you found out that you had 6 months to live
Mhm.
and you had a terminal disease and there's nothing that can be done, would you opt to take control and end your life when you want to?
If it got so bad, maybe.
I don't know that I physically could cause myself harm. Like, I just don't know if I could do that. Now, might I get to a point where I could say to my significant other or my kids, whatever, I mean, I don't know how old I would be or whatever. Might I get to a point in the illness when I'm in so much pain that I might be able to say to them, just to end this?
Let me go type of thing.
Yeah, but I don't know that, at this point in her journey, she is still, a functioning, I'm not going to say vibrant, but I mean, it's not like she's in a nursing home deteriorating.
Right.
And she is choosing to end her life pretty quickly. So I just don't know that I can do it. I don't think I could do it.
Right.
What about you?
I don't think I could either. And having watched my father die of terminal cancer, I'm grateful for every last moment we had. I'm grateful that it, and I don't know if he would have made a different choice. Not being in that situation. Do I think that it's good that people, not good, but I think it's beneficial that there is a way that if a person wants to make that decision, if a person wants to take control, and if they want to end their life, I mean, it's your life, it's your choice. But as a family member, I would rather they not make that choice. And that's very selfish.
Well, it is so, but I think we're all selfish when it comes to that. I think I don't think that that's you being selfish. I think everyone, when they're faced with a family member who has a terminal illness, I think that's the natural thing, is to be selfish of how much time you want to, that you want to spend with them.
Right.
So,
but it's an interesting turn of events, because right now, if right here on this show, Sam and I determined that you posed a threat to yourself or to someone else, we're gonna call the police. Well, we're probably gonna take video of it.
Oh my
Put it on social media.
No, but we're gonna call the police and we're gonna let them know that you're running around with an axe, crazy, and we're afraid that you might hurt
Wait,
yourself.
that's not normal?
No, that's not
Oh,
normal.
Okay.
But we are going to call the police, and you are going to be taken away so that you can be evaluated, because we certainly you can't make the decision to end your life. That's not okay.
Well, there's obviously a difference between someone who is being erratic and wanting to cause harm to themselves versus someone who has pretty much been giving the death sentence from their doctor,
True.
who says, I don't want to go through the pain. There's a huge mental difference there.
Didn't Dr. Kevorkian go to prison for trying to help people?
Well, but these were in states that did not have the act,
The law.
the law. So
Now, I know in some cases, what do you think about older patients maybe who may not have as much of a fighting chance as younger ones? Do you think there's a difference? Like, should the act have an age?
Meaning, like,
Well, like,
are you
I
saying
know-
if there's dementia involved?
Well, like I had I knew there was a gentleman a couple years ago in the West Valley who killed himself because he had a terminal illness that he knew he was not going to make it through, and he didn't want to be a burden on his wife at an old age, and he killed himself over it. And it was really sad.
But he hadn't been given 6 months to live.
No, he'd been given like no chance. I mean, he had, I can't remember what it was, but it was some sort of illness, again, like a terminal cancer type
Right.
thing, where he was like, they're like, he was already starting to go and things were going wrong and stuff like that.
there was a book. Do you read the author Jodi Picoult?
The books I read are Facebook.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my
You
goodness.
don't read. So Jodi
We're gonna get you a
Picoult-
shirt
I know.
that says that.
My favorite book is Facebook.
Facebook. Jodi Picoult is a wonderful author, as far as I'm concerned, and they are novels, but all of her books have some type of moral dilemma. And
Is she like a Danielle Steele type esque or same level of writing?
When you say, isn't Danielle Steele more like smutty, like slutty stuff?
Yeah, I've
no.
read those books.
Is that the kind of
Look how quiet she is, and she knows what it is over there.
She read all the Fabian
I mean,
covered
like
books.
she's just reading, or she writes a lot of them, continually type stuff.
Anyway, Jodi Picoult always has some type of moral dilemma in her books. That's really what they're based on. And she wrote a book, it was called Mercy, and it was about an older gentleman who walks into a police station with his deceased wife and says, I killed my wife because she was dying of cancer. And she had said she didn't want to suffer anymore, and he suffocated her. And that's at the very beginning of the book. Then the entire book is about the case and the community around it and all of that stuff. So anyway, I think I think it's your life. You live it how you want. And once she kills herself, I mean, there's really nothing anyone I don't mean to sound cold,
can't bring her
but
back,
yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, you can't
Well, and the
file something
way,
against her.
so the way that she will end up taking her life, this woman that we were talking about, that's moved,
Brittany Maynard.
Yep. She will take a pill, and that pill will end her life.
I mean, it's similar. I don't want to compare it to dogs, but people euthanize their dogs
True.
when they're in so much pain, and that's pretty much what it is, a shot that.
Yep.
Well,
So-
damn, that was a sad story
Yeah, you
to end
could've
the
ended on something
WWW.
nice.
Okay, well,
so-
actually, hold on a second, because that last story, I do have the phone number to the Juneau Police Department if anyone wants to call. It's 907-586-0600 if you want to give them a call and find out how do you notify the wrong person.
Yeah, if anyone wants to do our investigative work and call them up and just ask them what proof that they have to have before they go inform the relatives that someone's died. I mean,
Exactly.
what type of proof has to be done? We want to know.
Do it.
Inquiring minds want to know.
All right. Well, that's it for the WWW. We are going to go to a break. And when we get back, we are going to have Motor City Smitty. We're going to have Smitty with Motor City Auto Detailing. And we're going to learn about his darn good deal. So don't go away. I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
How about that bandage? You got some ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in their life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
You're listening to No Limits Radio Show on the Vets on Media Network.
We're back. Welcome to the show. All right. Do you have a clean car?
No.
We were just talking about this morning.
Why would you even ask me that question?
Me neither.
You've been in my car. My car is never clean. And I try. Like sometimes, like once every other month, I'm like, okay, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. So I clear out all the like extra shoes and sweatshirts and, you know, face wipes and all the crap that's in the back of my car. And I take it inside and I go to the car wash and I clean it out. And I'm like, oh, it's so nice. And then like 2 days later, it's back to how it was. So I've given up.
Been done.
Well, I have a challenge with getting myself to go to the car wash because I'm so busy and I have so much going on. So we have a guest.
Hey.
This is a public service announcement to all of our listeners.
Because we know you all have messy ass cars. All of you.
Yes. So we've got Smitty with Motor City Auto Detailing. Yay! And he's got a darn good deal. So we're also going to help your pocketbook out a little bit. So how about that? Tell our listeners about your darn good deal.
Well, it is $25 off any hook me up or everything but the kitchen sink detail.
Okay.
We just kind of nicknamed them, you know, gave it their own flair a little bit to them. So it's everything but the kitchen sink. So that means we go through the car front to back, top to bottom, inside and out, you know. So it's no cup holder left unturned, no vent left
Dusty
or anything like that. So we basically go through the vehicle.
And for those of us that are so busy and have a challenge in getting our vehicles to the car wash, what's your solution to that?
Simple. We come to you.
Hey.
That is so easy.
That is easy.
Like, it doesn't get any easier. We could actually
That's
have
dangerous.
both of us at one house, have a couple glasses of wine, have them come over, take care of both of our cars. Did you do a 2-for-1?
Well, wait a minute, hold on. How you gonna be in there drinking wine? And I'm out there. Look here, Moscato. What we got? Cave Sauvignon. What we got? Pinot Grigio. Look here.
Hey, if you can drink while cleaning, I'll bring you a glass of wine. Okay. All right. So everything but the kitchen sink. So go through the process of when you're detailing a car. Is that different than just washing a car? And what's the difference?
It definitely is, because when we do the everything but the kitchen sink, that's exactly what it is. It's, everything but the kitchen sink. We clean the engine compartment and the fender wells. We do the polishing, the waxing. We shampoo all the carpets, mats, any upholstery, clean up all the leather, vinyl, plastic surfaces. Yeah, like I said, we leave nothing unturned. We clean and polish up all the door jambs and any chrome. We clean out the trunk. Like I said, we start front to back, top to bottom, inside and out. Versus washing a car, which is not as involved. But even when we do wash a vehicle, of course, we clean and dress the tires. We spray out the door jambs, the fender wells. We vacuum out the trunk. Wipe down the interior with like a damn cloth, as opposed to like when you go to a lot of the car washes, all they kind of do is kind of run through it, and if you want a basic car wash, you just kind of, go through it. Whereas we actually go through it with a damn right. We'll wipe down door panels, dashboards, armrests, things like that. We actually do more than just kind of like run through it. And
well, and you mentioned that you clean out the engine. I mean, nobody sees that. That's under the hood. Why is that important?
It is, but it's still a part of the car. It's still a part of the vehicle. And when we clean a vehicle, our philosophy is when we clean a vehicle, we clean the whole vehicle. Now, unless you don't want me to, you don't want us to clean it, and we can customize the detail however which way you want to. If you don't want us to touch it, we won't touch it.
But is there a reason for like the health of the car? Should you do that?
It looks pretty.
It looks pretty.
It makes it look prettier, and and not to mention that it could add to the gas mileage.
Really? See, clearly I'm not the type. When I vacuum my house, I don't clean underneath the couches.
Well,
you don't do that all the time. But if you do a deep clean, let's say you do like a spring cleaning on your vehicle.
Okay.
I mean, or you do a spring cleaning on your house. Okay, now you getting baseboards, you getting everything, but you only do that maybe once, maybe twice a year.
Okay.
Versus, okay, maybe every week you might have, like vacuum around stuff. You might dust off a little something. You do a routine upkeep.
I love that they said a little something.
Little something. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's what I have to know. Because, when you go to those like car places,
right.
If I'm not going to do it myself, so if I've taken out all the crap and I'm going to go to like, let's say, one of the places where you drop it off and then they drive it through this little car wash, and then there's people in there that will clean it for you, and then they call you when they're done.
Right.
They say,
and you're not near your car.
Right.
That's happening.
Right. So anyway, what I want to know though is if you happen to have like even 2 pennies in your little cup holder, because I always have change in my cup holder, they don't even clean it. Did you know that?
Yeah.
I did not know.
No,
they won't clean it out because there's money in there.
And a lot of times, and we won't, we would do the same thing. When we go to a client's house, we always tell them to make sure that their vehicle is cleaned out. Because a lot of people do leave change and things like that in their cup holders. And, and that's for, what's the word I'm looking for?
Keeping everybody
Watch
honest.
your back.
Yeah, you kind of coming, so we don't mess with it, because there are people out there that like to test, so to speak, and I found, I've been doing this over 20 years. There's some things that I found in people's vehicles from, I was cleaning one guy's van and he knows it was there. I lifted up a mat. There was $100 bill under his mat, and it's kind of one of them things. At that point in time, you got a choice.
Can't you just move the 2 pennies, wipe it out, and throw them back in there? I
mean, you can't. I'm not saying I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying a lot of times that's why they probably don't do it, because somebody come by. You know what? I had them 2 pennies in there. They missing.
Well, if I call you to come out, I want you to move the pennies. Okay, I'm just telling you, nothing is more annoying. You pay them money and you get in the car and you're like, oh my gosh, it smells good, it looks good, and then you look in the cup holder and they're like, damn it.
There is a fine line. Now, if there's just 2 pennies in there, okay, cool, you move it. But some people leave massive amounts of change, and in some cases, like dollar bills and whatnot that's in there. So, you just kind of, Yeah, you just kind of like, hey,
Because you said everything but the kitchen sink. The
Right.
cup holder
No,
is
no,
not the
no.
kitchen sink.
what?
The cup holder is not the kitchen sink, so it should
No,
be
it's the
clean.
garbage disposal.
Well, there you go.
She's a feisty redhead. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Just
really
saying.
is.
Really makes me mad when the cup holder's not
But see,
clean.
if you're doing but of course, if you're doing everything but the kitchen sink type deal, like I said, I always tell people if it wasn't in there when you bought it, it shouldn't be in there when we come and clean it.
Okay, there you go. Big
Oh.
Big Red's getting big feisty.
I gotta find someone who's like, shit, I don't care. You want me to move your sweater, your heel, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay. So going back.
Hey, it's important to know what this covers.
It is
Yes.
important to know. Okay, so you said that like just like spring cleaning, you don't do that all the time. With this hook up everything but the kitchen sink, hook me up everything but the kitchen sink, how often should you do that? Is that like
Well, the hook me up is more commonly referred to like a wash and wax.
okay.
Okay. And wash and waxes versus the kitchen, everything but the kitchen sink. Wash and waxes, a lot of my clients have that they're done. The fanatics, I have it done once a month. Some of them I have it done every other month.
Okay.
And then in between that, they'll do the executive wash, in between that, because I mean, we use typically, because we also do like a routine cleaning service where we'll come out on a regular basis, whether it be weekly or bi-weekly.
Okay.
And they'll do that every 2 weeks. And then maybe, once every couple of months, that, do a hook me up, which is, like I said, we'll throw a coat of wax on, which is an executive detail. Plus we'll throw a coat of wax on the outside as well too. And, and the wax that we typically use lasts, depending on your car usage, anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks versus, a cheap wax that they use at the car wash, which, most times lasts, 4 to 6.
Okay.
So we use a little bit higher quality, of a product that'll last longer.
Now, is this a service that you also offer to businesses? Let's say a business wants to offer this as a benefit to their employees. Will you come to a business and wash all of the cars on, say, a regular day or something like that?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay.
If they want to do something, they want to be instituted together as an employee appreciation type deal. We've worked with, companies in the past where we, come out there on a particular day, at a particular time every week so that they all know that, we coming out there and, they're working. People that want to get their cars done, a lot of times they'll let them know ahead of time so people will, maybe get on the list. However you choose to, they choose to set it up.
Okay.
So we know what's going on and how many we got to go when we get out there.
And I would imagine you just need to have a water source. No, you don't have to.
Our unit is totally self-contained. Water, power, the whole, yep. And the water is spot-free water, so it's not normal.
Now, what does that mean?
That means that the water has been filtered, basically, so that it doesn't spot. Unlike tap water that comes out of the side of the house or out of the sink, we can, if push come to shove and we need to wash a car and there's no shade around, we can wash a vehicle out there without it spotting up.
Well, there you go. One more reason to contact Motor City Auto Detailing. Smitty, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, shoot.
How long have you been in business? It seems like forever.
Yeah, I've been doing this since 92.
92. Okay.
Yeah.
So trusted. He's been in business for like
22 years.
22 years. Thank you for doing that math, Sam. Did you see my brain kind of going?
Yeah, I've been doing it since 92. We're part of the Better Business Bureau, A+ accredited member of the Better Business Bureau. So,
and you're mobile. So if people want to contact you, they can just go to the website, Motor City Auto Detailing, and then contact you, correct?
Correct.
So are you
they can-
100% mobile?
Yes.
Okay. So not like a brick and mortar and mobile.
No.
You're strictly mobile.
Strictly mobile.
And if somebody wants you to come out and just do a basic car wash, you'll do a basic car wash all the way up to is everything but the kitchen sink.
That's the complete detail.
That's the complete detail.
Yes.
Okay. You got anything
And our
else?
listeners get $25 off.
Exactly.
And
Of
The hook me up and everything but the kitchen sink.
that's right.
ew. And that link is on our Google Plus as well.
There you go.
So take a look.
Woo!
Anything else you want to let our listeners know?
He's
No.
speechless.
Go
Oh my
Cardinals.
gosh. I have
Speechless.
never known Smitty to be speechless. This was a first.
Oh, it is. Mark it, put it on your calendar. There. Put it
It
on your
happens
calendar.
right here
right
on
here
No
on No
Limits.
Limits, man. Speechless.
There is no limit to what will happen in this room. All right, Smitty, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you
here.
for
And
having
thank
me.
you for sharing that darn good deal with our listeners.
Not a problem.
We are going to go to a break. And when we get back, we're going to learn about organization. We're going to learn about cooking. Well, actually, putting together a meal for Thanksgiving with a unbelievable deal, an unbelievable budget.
Does it involve deep fried turkeys?
We're going to find
We're
out.
going to find out.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
Everyone's going to need an attorney at some point in their life. I'm no different. Hey everyone, it's James from Vets On. Whether it was my last will and testament before deployment or my ongoing custody battle for my children during my divorce, I needed help, so I lawyered up. If you need help, I urge you to contact Capstrom Law Firm. Capstrom Law Firm in Springfield, Missouri services clients throughout the state in criminal law, personal injury, and family law. With over 13 years practicing law, Tom Capstrom understands both law and court procedures and how stressful they can be. Let Tom Capstrom Law Firm and his dedicated staff take the stress and worry out of a difficult situation by calling him today. We feel so strong about the work that Tom and his staff are doing that he'll be a monthly guest on the show. Tom is a veteran and a listener, for God's sake, so you know the guy is solid and will fight for you. Give Tom a call today by calling 417-864-0552 or email Tom at capstromlaw.com. And don't forget to tell him that Vets On sent you.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
Breaking 1-9. How about that bandit? You got them ears on, son?
Have you ever wanted to be a truck driver? If so, pay attention. If not, pay attention anyway. Southwest Truck Driver Training offers everything you need to get started. You can get hired before you begin training. They've got GI Bill approved training facilities, day, night, or weekend programs to fit your busy schedule. And if you have any questions, no sweat. They've got veteran supportive campuses with veterans on staff to serve you. And on top of that, they have lifetime job placement assistance. Put the pedal to the metal. Call Southwest Truck Driver Training today.
Do you need an extra push to start your day? Well, then tune in to Addie's Radio. Addie's Radio is a show that explores tough questions in an open and fun forum. The program also engages hard-hitting issues concerning veterans' physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. This show airs every Tuesday from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Vets On Media Network. Addie's Radio is hosted by Jesse James, a combat veteran of Afghanistan, so he knows the problems that veterans face every day. Jesse provides you guidance each and every week to be a better you. So tune into yourself each week by tuning into Addie's Radio. Go to vetsonmedia.com for show details.
If you or someone you know is looking for a new job or career, you need to visit the pros. National Career Fairs at ncfairs.com. National Career Fairs hosts over 300 career fairs a year nationwide. The events are free and give you the perfect chance to meet some of the top employers in your area face-to-face. To find the nearest career fair to you, visit ncfairs.com. Again, that's ncfairs.com. What are you waiting for?
You're listening to No Limits Radio Show on the Vets on Media Network.
Welcome back.
We're back.
I'm Christina.
And I'm Michelle.
And we have in studio with us Angela Morrison. Angela has so much information for us today. Her business is Catering by Angela. If you are one of those people that, if you've got your whole family coming over for Thanksgiving and you're looking to save money on putting together that whole meal.
How close is Thanksgiving? That's going to creep up on us, isn't it?
It's going to be here before you know it.
Oh my gosh.
October, we're already in it.
I'm already thinking Halloween's past, to be honest with you. It's just coming so quickly, it seems.
Well, Halloween isn't past yet, but
Okay.
But it doesn't matter for you, Sam, because you don't go trick or treat. So I don't know why you're worried about Halloween.
I should have never been truthful with you guys.
If you are a person that is needing some assistance with organization, I mean, she's got everything. If you have some clients that you need to get some great, yummy gifts out to, she's got that. So basically, we've got everything covered here in this last segment of the show. Angela, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. All right. So let's start with organization.
Okay. So, every person's different. It could depend on, do you want to be organized at work? Some people who I find are extremely organized at work fall to the wayside when it comes to their house, or vice versa. You're extremely organized. You have everything in a certain place, but then at work you have so many tasks coming in. It's really hard to make the transition to both places because it is time consuming, in the beginning to take that part. But then once it is, it's so much easier. For me, being in catering for 5 years, I have my kitchen is organized to the T. Like one of the things that I like is I always, the first thing that I notice when I go into somebody's kitchen is I'll notice that they have just a, 2-foot deep thing of spices, and they're digging around and trying to find the right spice. And there's like a 2-minute period where they have to get certain things in the pan and stuff like that. I like to have all of mine in a drawer, face up, so that I don't like to move stuff around. That drives me nuts, but that's just me. Everybody's different. But if I have them all face up. I'm a little bit more crazy, so I have mine separated by baking and cooking.
I thought she was going to say alphabetical.
No, but just baking and cooking because, like in the holidays, and you'd be surprised, I run out of spices all the time because I do a lot of catering. And so, just having them all face up and looking at you like that. Yeah, it's just so much easier than going, oh my gosh, where's the nutmeg? And you're digging and stuff's falling all over. And, just little things like that can make your life so much better.
Do you happen to have a junk drawer?
I have...
Because I'm thinking I have 2 in my kitchen. I don't have room to put spices in a drawer because I have 2 junk drawers.
I have a junk drawer, but it's probably not a normal junk drawer. It has a deck of cards, some scissors for the kitchen. It has
a key maybe.
Yeah, it has key to my pool. Little things like that. But it's not oh my gosh, this has been in here for a year. I didn't even know this was in here. It's not one of those drawers for me. But that's where that's where I come in, is that, I can help people just really, you should always have things. I find it's always easier for me to have things in the room that I know I'm going to need them. I like to have a flashlight right by my bed in case the power goes out all the time. It's in the top drawer of my nightstand. Just things like that to think ahead because you just never know. And, some organization that I do, for clothing, the first thing I do when I go into a client's house is, especially women, I'm not picking on women, but women tend to have so many more clothes than men.
It's true.
And so, one of the things that I like to do is January 1, I flip all of my hangers the opposite way of the way I hang. And then at the end of the year, as you're wearing the clothes, you put them back on the right way. And at the end of the year, whatever's flipped that way, you didn't wear it in a year. So why do you really need it in your closet? There's so many people out there.
That is a great tip.
There's so many people out there that could use those clothes that you're just stacking in your closet and stacking in your closet. And then it'll give you room to go buy more stuff.
I wish you could actually, you don't want to see my closet or my garage because in my closet, I have all the clothes that I'm wearing. Oh, and the shoes. I've got boxes and boxes of clothes that I can't fit into right now, but I'm determined to get back into.
And that's okay. And that's okay. But what I notice when I go into people's houses is the poor husband or the significant other is pushed to a spare room and he has half of that closet.
Did my fiance tell you that?
But so, there's ways some clients I've gone in and I've taken pictures, they'll have me organize their closets. That's the closet and the garage are the 2 biggest that I get asked to help out with. And so, in the closet, we'll help organize, you should have everything organized by, for me, it's by season. I know I'm not going to wear this until next winter. Well, what Arizona calls a winter.
Right.
So I'll tuck that away in a different area. And then I just have my work clothes versus, because I work in an office, what I'll have for regular clothes. But I like to take pictures of the client's shoes and put it on the outside of the box so that they know what's in there, so that they're not the opening 10 boxes and, oh my gosh, where's my shoes? And they just know. And I know that's a little crazy, but that's the kind of things I help with just to make it easier on you.
You know what would happen with me, though? You get all those little boxes and all those pretty pictures, and it would look gorgeous. But then once I wore them and I had an easy time finding them, they would just get thrown back into my closet.
And they wouldn't go back in the box.
Oh, they would absolutely not go in the box.
Well,
they would just get thrown in there.
So then there's the organizers where it's the drawer down and you have 15 or so pairs of shoes that come down. Those are a lot easier. Some clients don't like to have pictures. Sometimes like to have clear boxes. So I like going to the Container Store, best store ever invented, in my opinion. And going in there, and I have some clients that prefer clear, and they just do that because, you know, some women, I mean, you can spend a ridiculous amount of money on a pair of shoes and you don't want them sitting on the floor because you don't want dust getting on them or your dog chewing them up or something of that nature. So
will you come? So, you know, you mentioned the Container Store. To me, when I walk into one of those places and I see all this organization stuff, I just look at it and I'm like, it's overwhelming. I don't even know where to start. So will you go into a client's home, look at everything, assess, and then say, okay, you need this, this, and this?
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So typically what I like to do is I like to go in and I say, show me. And I know, and not everybody's like this, I get it, but I get so excited when I go in and you can't even see the wall because there's so much stuff, because it's so fun for me to organize people, which I'm very, I know I'm very unique. I know there's not many of me out there, but yeah, I will go in and I'll say, okay, you know, I think it's going to take me this many hours and here's the supplies I think you need. And it's just a time and material basis. You know, some people might say, look, you know, and I like to work with everyone's budget. Not everybody, you know, the incomes vary so much. And so, you know, I don't like to set a very specific price because I don't think that's fair. Some people really like, you have 4 kids and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even, you know, I have baby stuff everywhere. I have my clothes. I can't even think about my closet because look at all this I've got to deal with. And, you know, that's where I help. I just try to help make things a little bit easier so that when I leave, you're like, oh, how can I live without this system now? You know, so that's where I come in. I'm a people pleaser by heart.
So as we were describing, and let me tell you, when Michelle was describing her car and what a wreck it is, that's my car too. Okay. My personal vehicle is an absolute disaster.
It's like an extension of our closet.
It is.
I don't understand why people think that's a problem.
When you said having everything on hand that you need, that's my car. My car has everything on hand that I can possibly
and that's
need.
totally okay. You know, everybody, you know, like I like to have an emergency kit in my car. But that's my father. I'm a daddy's girl. So, you know, I like to have that. I like to have a spare gas thing. I like to have, you know, some tools like a flashlight, things like that. And I have them in the back of the car that, you know, because so they're not rolling around and getting all messed up and stuff like that. I always have tissues, you know, things
You're
that
making these ladies feel a little.
Yeah, I feel like I'm being mean right now.
Oh no, it's okay. Don't worry. That's normally our job. So go ahead and dish it back out us. But I'm thinking here would be the difference between what our cars look like and hers is that, okay, if you have to have the extra pair of shoes in case your feet hurt, or the sweater in case you're cold, or the makeup wipes because you cried and you need to wipe off your mascara, she would have it like all neatly put in a tub.
Well, I think the hardest thing about that,
whereas with ours, it's rolling around back there.
I'm like, damn it, I know there's another shoe in here. Where's my other red shoe?
Okay, we were driving home from an event and something was rattling around in the back of her car. And I'm like, what is that? It was a gun ammo thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just got to crawl back there. And she's like, don't do it. We're going to have an accident. So actually having someone organize you can save lives.
that's what we discovered.
Well, it's just, you know, it's all about taking stress away from somebody. You know, sometimes it's overwhelming to get organized. Some people are like, oh, I'd love to be organized, but I don't even know where to start. And that's, you know, just talking to somebody that can help you with that, even if you're not, you know, just taking those questions and saying, hey, you know, this is what I think would be good. I mean, my very first apartment didn't have cupboards. So how did I organize it? I had egg crates all over the place, but I still had everything organized as if it was a cabinet, you know. I mean, it's just different things. There's always creative ways to do stuff. It just depends on, you know, what your situation is at that time.
Well, and having somebody that thinks creatively like that and can bring that into the picture.
I mean, I just love it. I love organizing people. It is so fun for me.
Well, if you're bored this weekend, you can certainly come on over and you'll be happy all day. I promise you.
Now, as far as catering, Michelle and I do a show called Chicks Making Bacon on Sundays. And anybody that's ever watched the show knows that we're not the savviest in the kitchen. So when it comes to like getting someone if I'm going to give somebody a fruitcake or something like that, I'm going to go buy it. But I'm guessing that you have a better solution for that.
You know, there's so many things that you can do. I mean, it is, I know my sister cannot cook at all. Nothing. My sister is the type of person that called me up a couple months ago and said, can I use olive oil because I ran out of vegetable oil to make this cake? No, you can't, because your cake will be 1 inch thick, like and heavy. Like,
but they're both oil. See, I really relate to your sister. We've talked about your sister before. Her sister is the one in the family that when everyone's bringing an item for the dinner, they tell her bring a salad. That's me. My
or the
family,
veggie tray.
Yes.
You know, I tell her every year, oh my gosh, it would be a lifesaver if you brought me the veggie tray. And I don't mean that. I just don't want you to bring me anything.
You know how much
Her
that
sister
kills-
is so going to be mad at her now because she's just like, next time she says, just bring the vegetable tray, it'll really help me out. Her sister now knows that it's not helping her out at all.
But here's the thing. When she said that to me, I was like, oh my gosh. My family always says, you know what would really help us out? If you would bring the salad. You make the best salad. Making a salad is really hard. You got to chop up all that stuff. Can you just bring the salad? So when she's telling me this, I'm like, I hate my family.
You're like,
I don't.
wait a
You know, like,
second.
but it's okay. Like, you know, and I love my sister to death, but
everybody's got to know their strengths.
She doesn't have strength
Yeah.
because anything that, you know, for some people, the extra time that it takes to prepare something, oh, I've got to buy all these ingredients and I've got to follow this. What if I miss a step? I mean, it can be overwhelming. And I, you know, I started out the same way. You know, I, you know, my very early 20s, I just started creating dishes that I thought would taste good.
But if you want, let's say you've got a business and you want to give holiday gifts to your clients that are edible.
Right.
Going to the store and buying something from the store versus buying something that is homemade. Your business, Catering by Angela. Tell our listeners a little bit about the service that you offer through that.
So what I like to do is, you know, a lot of clients love cookies are a huge thing. They're very portable. You don't have to worry about them breaking, you know, things of that nature. And a lot of clients will hire me to do cookies. A lot of my recipes come from my grandmother. She's not with me anymore. She hasn't been for a really long time, but I love her recipes because they're so off the kilt from what you're used to seeing, like your standard chocolate chip and things like that. And, you know, so what I like to do is I have like a cranberry shortbread cookie that has pecans and cranberries, and it's a shortbread cookie. And, you know, they're very, very good. I like to make those. I always make peanut butter no bakes because I don't know how, I love peanut butter. Have you ever had a peanut butter no bake?
No.
So you don't bake it. It's peanut butter, oatmeal, butter, vanilla, and it all cooks together, and then it just drops on wax paper, and it is just the best cookie if you're a peanut butter lover ever.
Did you bring any of these?
No, I didn't. I should bring you a sample though.
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
I'm so hungry.
So I do chocolate chip cookies dipped in mint chocolate. Mint chocolate chip was her favorite ice cream, and so for her, I like to make that cookie just because it kind of reminds me of her, and my whole house smells like mint when I'm making them. And, you know, so what I do is I like to do, you know, I'll do a prepackaged tin. It can be in 6, 12, or 18 containers, you know, and I usually do a holiday container, and everybody's different. Some people like to have a plain container that they can put their a clear business logo on the top, and I'm totally fine with that. Some people are like, you know, I'm embracing Christmas the way it is, or the holidays. I want holiday containers that I can pass out, and it's a great thing. You know, for me, I really love doing it. My house smells amazing for 2 straight months, so it's a total win for me.
So you said that the containers, so it's 6 containers high?
No, so 6 cookies per
Okay, 6
container, a dozen or 18, or as many as you want. If you want to get a really large container and do, you know, 36 cookies, some people, it just depends on what they like. And so they'll say, you know, okay, this, and we base it on, you know, a lot of mine are for commercial clients. So they'll base it on, okay, well, there's 20 employees in here. You know, so I need at least 36 cookies so that everybody can probably have about 2 cookies if they'd like.
And what's the cost for 6, a dozen, or 18?
You know, it's not. The way I do it is the tins, I include the cost of the tin is $2. And then my cookies are 70 cents a piece. And then depending on the bulk order, if you order over a certain amount, then I can reduce it from there. And, you know, it all depends. I'll provide a quote to you, and you can decide. You know, I've worked for some major companies in the Arizona area, some landscaping companies and things have hired me to do cookies for their clients, and just having that personal touch. It just, I know for me, when I get stuff like that from, you know, my vendors, because I'm also in commercial property management, it just means a lot more when they took the extra thing to not get it from a a
From
store.
fries.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So what about ahead of time? How far ahead of time do you need?
So I like to have my orders locked in probably by the 20th of November because I bake for a month and a half straight for my clients every single night and weekend until I deliver cookies.
Ooh.
And I'll deliver them to your office. And then you deliver them to your clients, of course. I try
and then
to
you
stay.
and then you pawn them off on them and say, "Look what I made you."
Right. And then you take all the credit and say,
Yes.
"Look, I slaved for you," and I'm totally fine with
Throw
that.
some flour
I'm
on
a
your
team
face.
player. Yeah, it doesn't matter who gets the credit as long as they enjoy the product.
That's awesome. I did that once.
You did not.
I did. Okay,
You
so
pretended that you made cookies and put flour on your face so it looked like you did?
So I was dating.
This is going to be good.
I was dating. I was in a long distance relationship with. He was an assistant
person.
He was an assistant coach for the Cleveland Browns.
Mhm.
So, and isn't it funny because of how not a football person I am? So I'm in a long distance relationship. He's telling me about how much he misses, and it's around the holidays, how much he misses those homemade. So I go to Cookies from Home.
Oh my gosh.
Well, actually, first I tried to make the cookies. I did try. I tried to do it myself. Burnt every single batch. It was a
How
nightmare.
is that possible?
You just need to see.
Recipes
Yeah.
are instructions.
No, you just need to see me in the kitchen. It happens. So at any rate, I use the smoke detector instead of a timer to know when they're done. But anyway, so several batches didn't work. So I went to Cookies from Home, bought them, put them in a tin, made it look like it was, sent it off to him. He's watching film, raving about these cookies. Some of the other assistant coaches are eating the cookies. He's like, "You got to make me some more of those and send them." I spent a lot of money on freaking cookies. It was a nightmare.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was so bad.
gosh.
It was so bad. Sorry. Anyway, moving right along.
So we see that worked well for you.
It did not. Yes. Yeah. So anyway, moving right along.
Yeah,
from that.
Christina has to move along because now her mind is like spinning to I
Don't
don't
feel
even
bad.
want
I
to
mean,
know where.
yeah.
So
Well, but it was a big joke amongst my whole family, and my family knew about this. And for Christmas, I got this little ornament, which was this little
Baking
woman.
tray.
Yeah, yeah. So they poked a lot of fun.
And I
at me.
have too.
Yeah.
You know, when you first start out, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've, ruined an apple pie because I cooked the crust too long and I got so mad. But, you look at it, even when I had that apple pie, I'm like, oh my gosh, I burnt the crust. What am I going to do? Well, I just turned it into something else. I just took the apples because they were already pre-cooked and I just put them in little, ramekins and made apple crumb and threw it right back in the oven. And then I didn't waste anything except the crust. It just depends on,
That's pretty
there's
ingenious.
just, don't give up. There's always a solution.
well, I don't know about that. There's not always a solution. I mean, you could burn them,
Sometimes the
Really,
solution
Yes,
is
really
yes. If you
Yeah.
burn them, yes, you can.
but dogs can eat burnt cookies, right?
unless chocolate.
Well, so my sister, the joke is that we always say that we're going to do dog treats because the dogs will eat anything. So even if you don't know if it tastes good or not, the dogs are going to eat it. So what an easy business it would be to do treats for animals.
Right.
So,
All right. So Thanksgiving dinner. I know that you are able, for a party of 30, you're able to put together an entire Thanksgiving meal
Mhm.
for $140.
like 140.
How was that even possible?
Well, it's all about organizing your menu.
Oh, she's back to
I
the
know,
organization.
I know, but listen. So my family, that's including appetizers for my family because my family's so hungry that if I don't give them something to eat while they smell the food cooking, they will lose it. So I have to put food out at like 1 and then yank it back at 2:30 so that they're hungry again at 4 for Thanksgiving. Because if I don't give them something to snack on, they won't make it. They won't even come over. Or they'll go eat and then they'll be like, well, we're not that hungry because we couldn't wait on you. So I do very easy appetizers. And the only one that my sister considers really complex is I love brie. And so I'll take puff pastry dough, which is not that expensive. It's a few dollars in the freezer section. I'll take a wheel of brie. I will put walnuts and my favorite jam on top. I'll wrap the whole thing up in the puff pastry dough, cut the excess, and then bake it in the oven for like 30 minutes. And it is the best appetizer. And it literally takes no time. And it's not that expensive.
I think I could do that.
I used to in college do something kind of like that, but not necessarily as it didn't have walnuts and jam and all that, but I would just take croissants and the little Gouda balls and wrap it around there and cook it, and that's really good too.
Yeah. And it's really good. I'll do little things like that. I do, I love doing olives and stuff like that for the kids because, they're going to look at that brie and say, no way, I'm not doing that. So I'll do frosted cranberries is a really easy thing where you take fresh cranberries and you roll them, rinse them in water, roll them in sugar. So it gives you like a sweet tart little appetizer to set out there for kids. I'm trying to do a lot of kid friendly things.
Sure.
But it's really easy. So I'll, what I like to do is I will, say, okay, how many people are coming and how many of these are kids? Because kids are going to eat a quarter of what adults will eat.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I've always found that they always say that it's a pound of turkey per person. That's insane. Nobody eats a pound. I mean, I've not seen my family eat quite a bit. So I have family that likes turkey and doesn't like turkey. So I do a 10-pound ham, a 20-pound turkey. Those are the two most expensive things on the whole menu, which is probably going to cost you what, $25, maybe $30 altogether. And so, I like to buy that. I'll say, okay, what am I having for, I always make deviled eggs. I love to make rolls. And sometimes I'll do, my favorite rolls to make are the Rogues rolls that you can buy. You can buy 36 of them in the freezer section. It's in an orange and white bag. You put 2 of them per muffin tin in the little things, spray, put parsley and butter on them.
Wait. Why do you put them in a muffin tin?
Because then when they, I let them rise overnight.
And
then
that's
they
how you get the
up
muffin
and then the
top.
Part,
Oh.
Ding, the light went on.
She's going to try to do it for this
So,
Thanksgiving. I can't
you
wait to see the pictures.
sprinkle parsley on them or butter or whatever you'd like. I let them rise in the oven overnight and then I just let them sit there and then I bake them and they're just really good homemade rolls and you didn't have to go through the trouble of making the dough.
So you put the butter on them before?
I like to put butter on them. Yeah, I like to put a little bit of melted butter on them. It helps the rising process, I've found personally.
Okay.
And so, I'll make that. I like making homemade pumpkin pie and homemade pecan pie. I've never really realized how much I liked pecan pie until I made my grandma's recipe. And it was a really funny story. I wound up taking 2 pies in and then I tasted one and I'm like, oh, this is really good. You can only have one. And I took one back out for myself. I'm like, I had no idea this was such a good recipe. I'm sorry, you can't have 2.
Oh my gosh.
But there's so many great things, so what I'd like to recommend is sit down and find out how many people are coming. Take a look at, what are the main things that you like to have? Everybody's recipes are different. A lot of people like green bean casserole. Some people like Brussels sprouts. I'm not a fan, but I know my family likes them. So I always try to make that. Because you'd be surprised like how far your side dishes will stretch. And everybody is the I'll try a little bit of everything person.
Sure.
And so by the time you have all of that on your plate, I mean, usually it's rare for me to see people go back a third time. And if they do, that's great. I mean, it's just more of a compliment to you that, that they like your food that much. But what you'll find is you'll have so many leftovers. What I notice a lot of people do is they'll overbuy. They'll spend $200-$300 on food and then they have food for weeks and a lot of it goes bad. They wind up having to throw it out. So you just really figure out, what I've noticed is people use about half a pound of turkey, a slice of ham, and their side dishes. And then I have never not had turkey left or ham ever for 30 people. And that's just family.
What is your favorite side dish for Thanksgiving?
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes?
I love buying the yams. I love baking them. And then, kind of like what you'd get in a restaurant where I like to have the cinnamon and the butter sitting out for everybody so they can kind of put in their own stuff. Love it. And glazed baby carrots. I've always done it.
How do you do that?
I do everything on a stove. I've only had one oven my whole life. I've never had the luxury of a double oven ever. So I use the stovetop to do everything. The turkey's baking. So what are you going to do with all your side dishes? Sure. I do almost all of them on the stovetop.
How do you do the glaze?
So for the carrots, I take a bag of carrots. Usually 1 bag of carrots will feed all of those people. It really will.
People?
Yes, because you're slicing them in a circular motion. And so, I like to slice them up. I put, a handful of, I guess that would be about 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, half a stick of butter, put it in the pan, let it candy, throw your carrots in there, and then steam them on low for about 25 minutes. And you've got amazing tender, crisp carrots. They're so good.
I am so hungry right now.
Are you?
My
I am
one of my
so hungry
favorite
right now.
one of my favorite go-to recipes that my family always asks for every year is I'll take Granny Smith apples. It's spiced apples. Makes the whole house smell good. I usually make them right after as everybody's finishing eating. What I notice is I usually eating while I'm cooking because I'm testing everything, so I'm not as hungry. So while everybody's eating, I'm kind of cleaning up and doing that. But I like to take Granny Smith apples. I'll quarter them. And then I throw them in a pan with a box of cinnamon Red Hots, which I found you really can only get from Walgreens. And I put about a half a cup of sugar in there and let it melt down and throw the Granny Smith apples in there. And it softens the apples and just gives you a tart cinnamon flavor. And it is just so good. I cannot tell you. It is the #1 requested dish at Thanksgiving for catering. Everybody loves it. It's so easy.
It's just sugar and cinnamon hots?
Sugar, cinnamon Red Hots, and Granny Smith apples. That's it.
And you put it in a pan and
in a frying pan.
In a frying pan.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
the cinnamon Red Hots melt.
They'll melt down to like the consistency of a candy apple. Do you know the liquid?
Yep.
So they'll melt down like that with the sugar. So they'll have a little bit of sweetness in there with the cinnamon, and then the tartness of the Granny Smith apple will turn the whole apple red.
But so you just put it on low.
Mm-hmm.
You put it on low until it'll actually melt,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put the apples in there and a lid on top for how long?
I don't normally put a lid on.
You don't put a lid on top?
No, I just like to let it sit there, and I stir them. And it takes maybe about 10 minutes before you'll start noticing that they're getting soft, and they're amazing. I serve it with a side of ice cream. It's just a really great recipe, and the whole house smells amazing when you're done.
Well, if I friend request you on Facebook, do you think I could come over for Thanksgiving?
Yes.
All right.
Come over. Yes, absolutely.
Look at that. I got plans for Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. You're
too funny.
more than welcome.
And I'm going to Facebook picture everything I'm eating because I know you have family. So you're going to have to actually be there. And I'm going to be at her place.
You know what's funny is that as she's been describing everything, I've been like, man, I so want to go to her house for Thanksgiving.
I'm just excited for the holidays. It just makes me excited for that.
Well, and there's so many shortcuts that I noticed that I do. Like a lot of people don't know that if you're cooking for a large group, that you can hard boil eggs in the oven. You don't have to put them in water. You can take as many eggs as you can fit on a wire rack in the oven on 350 for 35 minutes, and you have perfectly hard boiled eggs.
Shut the front door.
So if I'm catering, I've catered a Thanksgiving once for 75 people. That is, I promise you, that is how I did it, and it works like a dream. And they're perfectly hard boiled. You didn't have to waste water.
How do they peel though?
Fine.
And can you tell me what is the trick about peeling? How come sometimes? And my mom's always told me, you put the eggs in there with the water, and then once it starts boiling, put your timer on for 10 minutes, and then take them off and put them in the sink and let them cool, and then you peel them. And sometimes it's they literally pop off. The shell just pops off. And then other times I can't get it to come off, and it's breaking and it's a mess. What's the trick?
So if I'm making it for a small party and I do it in the water, I actually steam them for 20 minutes. I do right. As soon as they come to a rolling boil, you only put enough water in there to cover the eggs. Do not put a full thing of water and allow them to move around. That has a lot to do with how they're going to cook, because if the egg fuses itself to the side of the shell, you're going to rip it. It's just going to happen. And it's not your fault. It's just because you put too much, there's just too much water in there. So I put water just over the eggs. As soon as it comes to a rolling boil, I put the lid on it, take it off the heat, and I let them steam for 20 minutes. And then I will put them in a colander, rinse them underwater to cool them down. I don't like to wait. I don't have the luxury of waiting when I'm catering. And then they just peel fine.
You steam them.
Yeah. I'll let them sit in that hot water for 20 minutes after they come to a rolling boil, and they're just perfect.
Oh, I never put the lid on. I just let it go for 20 minutes. Once it boils, I just let it go for 10 minutes.
No. Lid to help finish the cooking process.
But you turn the heat off once it starts boiling.
And then move them off that burner. And then lid them for 20 minutes.
That's interesting.
Well, that is interesting. And also, everyone, if you're making deviled eggs for the first time, and if someone says, cut the eggs in half, it means long ways. I'm just saying, because I'm scarred for life, and my family still at get-togethers always cuts one egg the wrong way because I cut the egg the wrong way.
Aww.
All of them. It wasn't my fault. I asked mom if she wanted help. I was 9. Come on, people.
Oh, did you cut them
and
all
she
that
said,
way?
Yeah. She goes, I said, can I help, Mom? And she said, yeah, cut the eggs in half. She didn't tell me what she was making. So I just cut them all in half. And so the deviled eggs were like wobbling everywhere. My family still makes fun of me.
You gotta
It was
love
like
family.
30 years ago.
You gotta love family.
I know.
It's a lot of love, man.
What is your favorite holiday dish?
I have the same thing for Thanksgiving. It doesn't matter what year it is or who's coming. I have turkey and ham. I do the same. I do both. And then I make my mashed potatoes with sour cream and cream cheese. Got to have corn, cream bean casserole, and rolls.
You put cream cheese in your mashed potatoes?
I put cream cheese and sour cream. I don't put butter. Sometimes I'll have to put a little bit of milk, but I only put cream cheese. For 5 pounds, I put a pack of cream cheese and 6 ounces of sour cream, and then some pepper and some garlic.
That's interesting.
And they're good.
That's very interesting.
Have you ever had them?
I've never done cream cheese. No, I've done cheese. I've not put anything in them, but like a lot of my family loves gorgonzola cheese. I've taken a couple blocks of gorgonzola cheese, and I like mashed potatoes, like smashed up. I like to have the skins on the potatoes because I like the texture of it. And so I'll mix gorgonzola cheese in there, and it's good.
Oh my God.
No, I do
really
cream
good.
cheese.
But that's a good idea.
Sam,
I do cream cheese in my pumpkin pie.
Do you do Thanksgiving?
Mhm.
Yes, I do Thanksgiving. My dad's side of the family is from America, so yes, we do Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Oh, and sugar cream pie. I make sugar cream pie.
What? Okay, wait a second. Sam, I'll come back to you in a second. Sugar cream pie?
I only make it at Thanksgiving and Easter.
What is that?
It's sugar and cream. Literally, it's whipping cream and sugar and milk. It's kind of like it's not baked, so you just bake the shell, and then on the stove you take heavy whipping cream, sugar, and milk, and you just keep it on there for low until it thickens, and then you take it off. You add a little bit of vanilla, and then you pour it in the pan, and then it sets up. It's kind of like a custard.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's it.
It actually sounds good.
That's my aunt's recipe, and as far as I know, I'm the only cousin that can make it successfully.
Woo! Well, I think you should make it for everyone here.
Okay, I'll make it for you.
Okay, awesome.
But it has to be Thanksgiving or Easter. I only make it twice a year because it takes forever. Because I'm not very good at doing it. It takes too long.
Sam, favorite Thanksgiving item?
I love stuffing.
Oh,
stuffing is
good.
but it's got to come out of the bird.
Oh, that's so gross.
What's wrong with that?
That's
Yeah, I
just
don't do it that way
disgusting.
It's moist that way. It's good.
Oh.
It's got like salmonella or
You're
something.
gonna get
Oh my
salmonella
goodness.
and
I've been
Ebola.
eating it for 22 years. I'm fine.
You're gonna get salmonella
I also
and Ebola.
like Yorkshire pudding. Yorkshire pudding.
What is that?
How do I explain it? It's kind of do you know how to show you? I don't even know how to explain it. It looks like a muffin kind of.
Okay.
And you can put like gravies and stuff in it, and it's goes in a muffin pan, and it's like crusty and it's flaky, kind of like a biscuit, if you will, like a gravy biscuit. But it's really good, and you can put all different types of desserts and stuff in it, or whatever you want. It's really good, and it's just like kind of like it's our version of rolls, basically.
Okay.
Oh,
it sounds yummy.
Does sound good. Maybe I'll come. Maybe I'll do your.
Yeah.
For lunch
If you
and
want
lunch for
to,
dinner.
I would say if you want a British style Thanksgiving, that's at my house.
Can you do lunch? Because her dinner sounds like it's at 4.
We usually do.
Right? 4?
Yes,
4-ish. So can you do like 12?
I can do like 2.
That's
or
fine. That
one,
gives
yeah.
me enough time.
Okay.
Perfect.
You're good to go.
What's your favorite one?
It's a toss up between the stuffing and the mashed potatoes.
Do you do like the cream, like half or heavy? What is it? Half and half in there, or something like that, in the mashed potatoes?
Oh,
Make
I
it
have
look thick?
no idea how it's made. I don't make
Oh.
it. So, remember, I bring the salad.
Oh, that's
Is
right.
it just regular mashed
There's no
potatoes?
salad and mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes, butter, pepper, milk. I think that's in there. And my family also does this thing called Davenport dip, which when I tell you the ingredients that's in it, you're gonna be like, really? That's it? Well, anyway, it's cream cheese, a little bit of milk, and ketchup, and then you mix it all together, and it's a dip for potato chips. Oh, and onion. And it is, I know it sounds really weird.
It sounded okay till you said ketchup.
It's so good. It's this thing that my grandmother has always made, and it's just amazing. So
You're looking forward to it.
I love it.
Because you don't make it, I assume.
Oh no,
I didn't
don't.
think so.
No.
So you only get it at Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, any family event. Yeah. So anyway, well, this has been great. the one thing that I wanted to ask you that I didn't get to ask you, when it comes to your shopping,
Mhm.
are you a coupon person, or is it just all about that pre-planning and organization to really make those dollars stretch?
You know, for me, it's don't be afraid to shop at other stores. Like, there's some things that you can get a really great, like I love Costco because when you're buying bulk, you're going to be using flour for a whole bunch of stuff. I like to go there and get my flour and sugar. Absolutely. Because I'll pay the same price at, Fry's or Safeway for 3 times the amount at Costco. So things like that really matter, I like to shop at both. I like Fry's and Safeway. I like, I've gone to AJ's occasionally for different things, but when you're working on a tight budget, the best thing to do is just to really go, and you don't have to buy that stuff. They'll start selling that stuff on sale, right now, but you'll get the best sales the closer that you wait to the actual holiday. And that's what I've really noticed is, I know a lot of the things that I do is I'll make all of my rolls and all of my pies and stuff the night before, so that all I have to do is put the turkey in, and then I have the side dishes. Most of the appetizers I make cold on purpose so that I don't have to use the oven. And so, anything that I can do, I'll wait till the very day before to buy some of the stuff, because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get rid of it all, because people will forget stuff, but it's a onesie twosie thing. They're not really going to go in there. And I find that that's when I take advantage of the best sales.
Well, there you go.
It just works out.
So how does someone contact you?
So I have my phone number, and I know Christina has that.
It's in the lower thirds right now.
Yep.
The business is Catering by Angela, and the number is 602-492-8796. And again, if you're watching this on the video, it's right there in the lower thirds. You're looking at it.
Awesome. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you guys.
You had a
very
great
much for
time
having me.
Next is JD's Rockin' Sports. So
Yes.
stay tuned if you want to hear what's going on in the sports world. Christina, what do we have next week? And we got to go.
We got to go. We'll
We'll
just
talk
tune in
about it next week. So
All right.
tune in.
Whoa,
So
hold on.
she is Christina.
I'm
And I'm
Christina.
Michelle.